Hi guys, welcome to the Benjamin Zulu show, and today we have a very interesting topic. It's how to prevent your church from breaking your marriage.
You sound like a suspect. Let's start here.
Yes.
As we said, the church is a family house of the children of God. This message is for insiders. This is an in-house business for Christians. Mm-hmm. Those idiots who hate God should not listen to this message. I have nothing to talk to them about. Those who try to hate on God and trash talk church, this is not about you. Mm-hmm. This is an in-house matter for those who belong. All right? So that said, if you lack balance between your spiritual life and your family life, you can actually quickly ruin your family life, your marriage life. Let me tell you where it starts. Because many of us have been molded by pastors. Yeah. Many of us have been mentored by pastors. Prayed for. Hey, demons. Jesus said women, he had cast out 7 demons. Some of us only that it's not written anywhere. But some demons. You know, and then the name is the Mary from whom Jesus had cast out demons. Have you ever had a problem that becomes part of your identity? What is the name of that woman with the issue of blood?
It's not written anywhere.
The problem became the identity. But happily, it had been solved.
Yes.
They didn't mind the history as long as it was already solved. When you study how Jesus healed people, do you find some funny methods where he made mud and put another place he spit?
Yes.
There's some methods you will not understand quickly, but the guys who are being attended to didn't mind. When you have had a problem for long, you don't become too touchy and juicy about how the solution is delivered. Me and you have never been mute. Yeah. So we can say, you should heal the mute guy in a rather professional manner. But the guy who was being healed didn't mind. He was just happy to see.
Yes.
Some things were put there to teach us something. So today we are discussing about how to put the boundary between your personal life, church life, mentorship life, and your partner life. Now, this is where it begins. Many times when you're doing church, you're not married. So you end up making the men of God, the people of God, the brethren, your family. Yeah. You even call them dad and mom. Mm-hmm. And I prohibited you, Brahma. Don't call anybody else dad apart from your biological father.
Yeah.
Don't call anybody mother except your biological mother. Those others, give them the right titles. Yeah? Pastor, mentor, coach. Give them any, not. Because dad is parental. It's permanent. It's very heavy. It's lifelong. Mom is a heavy title. They use it casually. Girls are very fond of family languages. Mm-hmm. When they're in school, they call each other mom, daughter. I know that.
Now that we are in church, we have people who call others dad, as you're saying, others mom, because they will claim they are parenting us spiritually.
Yeah, they're parenting you spiritually, but I just want to know how far is spiritual parenting? Where does it stop? You see, she may be the wife's pastor, and we call her mom. Mm-hmm. That title is seen as a title of acknowledging seniority. Yes. But you know, it is also bringing an authority that you do not see. Mm-hmm. If you present a guy you want to marry and mom disagrees, will you continue to marry them? You feel like you lack a blessing, you'll be cast, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because mentally you have given the title of your parent. That's a very heavy title. Mm-hmm. So let people use the names, but as for you, remember this is not my mom. I'm teaching you some quiet defiance. Learn to draw boundaries. Excesses are the problem. The balance is here. So number one, you have said you've been mentored by your by pastor or by church has brought you. That's why you prayed. That's why they have prayed with you, and you know they have journeyed with you through life. You shall never underestimate or denigrate or minimize the contribution of the people of God in your life. Many of us were educated by them.
Yeah.
Many of us were praying. They fought through life with you. But let me remind you who is working in your life. It's God through them. So you must not make them your idols. To worship them, to over-obey, to over-submit, to constantly, they can hold you back. Remember? Oh my God. Okay. Next time you should talk about how to retire mentors. Okay. If you overstay with mentors, they begin to hold you back.
Yeah.
So these people coach you, who helped you, assisted you. You need to keep every time evaluating where are you in your journey in life. Where are you? There comes a time for Naomi and Ruth and Orpah to cry and still say goodbye. Please. There's a time to cry and still say
Goodbye.
Orpah goes back. Naomi and Ruth go the other way.
Yeah.
She went back to her people and her gods. You need to go forward to your future. Their direction is another one. You don't judge. There comes a time people helped you, assisted you, housed you, cleaned you up. If you do not learn to move forward, you never move past them. All right? So the first thing is, once you hit that day, grow up. For men, I use 30. For women, I use 25. The moment you become family person, you are ready now to date, create distance. Stop being so close to the servants of God until you can smell their breath. Stop being in their clothes. Stop visiting their home frequently. Go to church, serve God, do your givings, and go home. Receive the sermon gratefully, give the offering. Let others now go serve in front. This is not your spot. This is a merry-go-round. Let them do their part. Now the young people, let them take that. Even if you're the best singer, don't keep on singing. Some people just wanted the stage to shine, to sing, to play keyboard, to dance, to receive attention. Because your hunger, greed for attention, you end up being held back, delayed, because you won't drop the microphone because you're the best singer. Sometimes attend another church to teach them to sing without you. Attend the early service church and give us, be very busy to run somewhere.
But again, you see, these so-called dads have given us some of the responsibilities in these churches.
Remember, they will never release you.
Yeah.
Many of them will never tell you it's time now for you to. You're the best they have. They have trained you for the longest. But duty is calling for you to start dating, start moving another part of life. Now you have a job. They even refuse you from migrating to go near your job. Yes. One technique I tell people to retire, to create distance between them and church. Because I told you, if you wait until they have to okay who you have to date, they have to okay where to live, they have to okay the car to buy, they have to okay how you relate to them, they have to okay everything. Now, you know men who hate, the way men we hate it when we come home and the wife is quoting pastor everywhere.
Yes.
Your ideas are being contrasted
With the pastors. It happens.
Many men don't go to church because of the way they're being contrasted. They don't like it.
Yes.
Some women lack wisdom. So I'm saying the reason you need when you begin to evolve to create a healthy distance. You don't quit church. Church is a different thing from the leadership I'm talking about. You don't quit church. What you do is create distance so that you can worship individually, directly to God, in a gathering of brethren, to fellowship and enjoy the warmth of fellowship. Do your contributions to what is going on without being controlled, the direction of your life, the person to marry, how to live, how to lead your marriage life, so that you don't need approval to change houses, don't need approval to buy car, don't need approval to change jobs. Because when you stay too close, you have to keep updating on every decision you're making. They interfere with your marriage when you bring them too close to see everything. You need to make a decision, the two of you. Once you get married, once you find your lover, you become a sovereign unit. You need nobody's approval, not the pastor's approval, not your dad's approval, not mentor's approval. You make a decision. They give you advice, but you make the decision. Listen to the sermon, listen to the message, know the ideas, but determine the direction of your life. If you fail, you learn together, you correct. You fail, you don't give people power to curse or bless you. Read the Bible yourself. One reason Christians are over dependent on preachers because they don't read the Bible themselves. They depend on hearsay. gossip about God.
Rumors about God.
They don't read the Bible. They don't know when they're being lied to. They don't know when it is being, some scriptures are not being quoted. There's some nuances about the Bible when you read, they resonate with your personality and your journey in life. Nobody would have preached to them. Nobody. Study the word. There's some verses I like the epithet I like. You know, the things people write on their grave. I'll pick a verse of the Bible I enjoy. And nobody, it's not a rich verse. So it's not being preached. It's in 72, last it says, the prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended. That's my best epithet. The wishes, the requests, all the requests of David, the son of Jesse, have been granted. And he ends his life like that. My brother, how better? Where would you have seen that if you're only depending on someone? There's another one I like that you have not heard because it's not rich. Some scriptures you find they are not theologically complex. For example, when they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. There's no deep theology there. But it resonates with him because I like singing. I like the idea of the Mount of Olives. I want you to study the Bible so that you can find your own nuances in the scriptures. All right? So I was telling you this. The church will only interfere if you're being advised on everything. And they can disagree with the person you wanted to marry. Does not come from the community they wanted, from the church they wanted. Does not pray the way they wanted. Let me tell you another insidious way in which brethren, not just past brethren, interfere with your marriage. You're having fellowships day in, day out. How can you date a girl who on Monday she has prayer meeting, Tuesday evening she has praise and worship, when the choir, intercession, crusade, kesha, and finally overnight. When will you ever date her if every time I was in church? You need a relationship with God that is very personal, so that you can attend fellowship, but they are not the foundation of your faith.
Yeah.
Don't make church fellowship the foundation of your faith. You see that moment you create in the morning? Brahman, your daily custom should involve prayer and reading the Bible and praying. Read the Bible, pray. Talk to God daily. It's the things you do daily that determine your overall life. It's not what you attend weekly. The preacher preaches once a week. The Christian should preach every day.
Every day.
Preach to yourself, your situations, yes.
And talking about every day, Benjamin, what about a couple that has been given assignments in church on a daily basis? You know, we have people who have been given responsibilities in church from Monday to Sunday, from Sunday to Sunday.
You need to limit your involvement in church. Can I tell you that some of them are even youth leader? So that I am the youth leader that time.
Yeah.
Some youth leaders don't need to be theological. You just told mentor our youth for the next 1 year. We need to balance my responsibility between me and my wife. I cannot be the head here, she's also the head there. And then we are involved until we take away the time from our family projects. We need to balance our involvement. The way they are meeting in church to elect, we need to meet at home first and decide how much time we can allocate there. All right? So let the couple decide first and let them not allow other people to pick them just anyhow, even if you are the best leader there. And remember, I told you not to be in places where you are the if you are the smartest in any context or in the wrong context. You always need a place where there's a colleague level of people whom you can think same level. If you are the one standing tallest tree, you are just a big fish in a small pond. You need an environment where you're not the only one driving. Can you imagine it's only one car and yours? No, you're really big. Can you go to a place where your car looks tiny? To discipline you to step up. But if you come here where guys only have bicycles, look at shiny. And you're not saying you keep up, but we are saying always keep evolving in life.
There is a point that you've said about pastors, and I want to chip in there again. What happens when a pastor starts imposing his ideas, starts imposing his advices on a couple and forces them to adopt them, thinking that their marriage is going to work as he thinks?
Yeah, there are many times where you find that leaders cross boundaries, and we are the ones to know where the boundaries are. I want you to remind you that many of our pastors are theological experts, but they are not psychological experts. They may not have studied psychology. Some have, some have not. So they do Christian counseling, some of them. But there are some issues you need to know who is the best person to seek advice from. The reason many of them go to pastors because they are not paying. They just wanted free service. So they're being misadvised because of their own laziness. They don't want to invest in experts from whom they pay. So one of the things, measure who can advise you for what. Number two, learn to see when people are misadvising you by checking whether it rhymes with what you think to be true yourself. And I want to advise women to always let the man lead the relationship. Sometimes the man is not spiritual as you. Maybe you pray more than he. Maybe you. And remember how women pray? They pray loudly a lot. Men also pray loudly, but many times you don't see a lot of emotion in men's prayers. Men's prayers are structured. We are praying about what? They have money for the rent. Okay, God, we know we need this rent. We trust you to provide in Jesus' name. Amen. Yeah. A lady to pray about the same thing. She started by quoting, "How Lord, when I came to this city." She might go in circles. Both prayers. She's like that. I'm like this. So don't think your husband is less spiritual because you pray louder or you don't look down upon him in any way. If he's good enough to be your husband, he's good enough to be your leader. If you're married, let him be the husband.
Yeah.
If he's not good enough to be your leader, why is he your husband? There are women who make us compete with their pastors. You feel like the pastor has bigger authority than you. You're being contrasted. Let your man lead in the home. So balance involvement in church so that even when the pastor gives advice, you evaluate what you are saying.
Talking about evaluation, Benjamin, there is also a point you've talked about men being compared to pastors here and there. I always say that men interpret respect at different levels and on different occasions. One being that form of comparison that we've talked about. When you compare me to your pastor on how I've dressed, on how I talk, on how I reason, that is, I'll interpret that as lack of respect. Right. You see? Now, when should a couple understand that my pastor is becoming toxic?
When you feel like you're being misled, like when they demand too much compliance, loyalty, you have to report every detailed movement, every little movement. Sometimes I've told you to minimize your presence, your availability on purpose. On purpose. Once you realize you're being deep, too much weight is being put on you, for 2 Sundays, worship at home and say there was a function at home. The function was you went around, you went outing. You don't need to give details. Sometimes you need to teach people to live without you so that you take back the control over your life. Don't get over-involved. And if you realize you're being over-involved without your realization, step back. What do you stand to lose? What do you stand to lose? Think about it. You can't lose your relationship with God. You are good with your God. Bramwell, the one thing I told you about a wife, I want you to marry a woman whom you can be like this. A team. You can talk one voice, one mind, and play your game. Step back, create distance. When you realize they're being toxic, they're coming too close, relinquish the responsibilities and give convenient excuses. Remember what David said? David did not show up for the meeting of Saul. And he told Jonathan to say that his father had summoned him. Yes. You need to have that kind of wisdom. He was a godly guy. And he's using agreeable excuses to avoid coming to danger. Learn to do that. That's wisdom. That's not lying.
All right. Now, Benjamin, in a scenario where I have married a pastor's daughter. What happens?
I wish you luck.
This is my father-in-law. This is my pastor.
Let's start this.
Yes.
Avoid your father-in-law also being your pastor as much as possible. I hate to have to pray over you, but
we are slowly turning this into a sermon.
Sometimes, Bramwell, high wisdom is needed. As I told you, marry that girl for whom you can do life with. Even if she's president's daughter, marry her. If you realize, men, you can think alike. You have deep connection, conversations. You see life together. Few human beings you can connect on that level. So don't reject her because she's Bishop daughter. Don't be idiot, man. Those kind of women are not there. We're looking for them. You drop her, I pick her quickly. You think you're the only hunter in the jungle. I told you one way to find good women is to look for a good woman who is in the hands of an idiot. Good women are hardly alone. Another fool had noticed that she's a good thing. And he came here, but he's indecisive. He's taking her for granted. So next time a lady who you know is respectable and concrete confides with you that the boyfriend is giving her trouble, advise and hang around. Hoping like the fool drops the bone. You pick it and go. That's how we find wives, my brother. Hiya. Not be too nice. This is a jungle. You are looking for a single woman who's like this. Where will you find her? Most good women are in entanglements, which is going nowhere. That is not a marriage. They have been together for 2 years and the guy doesn't know where he's going. Hang around and demonstrate how focused you are. And mention in a subtle manner how you are ready to settle and move on and you're trusting God.
She's the target.
When you hear they have broken up, oh lo and behold. So, once you realize that there's an interference, you step back. You need a woman whom you can rhyme so well. So, if you realize that you've married from a person who was also your pastor, because it happens.
Yes.
You are in the same community.
Yes.
Most pastors' girls are brought up so well. They know God. They know how to pray. Not all pastors are balanced parents, but many of them are.
Yeah.
And that's the best girl to marry. She is not bringing a heritage of demons. Yeah? Brother. You know. If you marry a girl coming from a 5 genealogy of wizards, the great-grandfather was the seer.
Rainmaker.
Then I was a rainmaker. Then I was a night runner. And then the father is a confirmed drunkard. Which heritage are you married from? We're not saying you can't, but you'll have some foundations to work on. But if you marry from this girl who comes from a family that taught them how to submit, how to pray, you have an advantage. Don't be foolish. Look at what this girl brings every day. Look at her, what she brings. Don't look at too much of, I fear this, I fear that. You find a good girl. Be sharp, man. Snatch and go. You only needed one woman and you're out of the market. Now you're missing your opportunity here. Then you have to do 5 months, 1 year, 2 years of rounds again. Are you not tired? Searching is tiresome. Only that you don't like lamenting on the road. Yeah, actually, you can't vent. When do you vent? Post on Facebook, I'm tired of searching now. Anybody come? You can't post that. You have to keep up the spirit and look like you're smiling. When you finally find a woman with whom you ride, even if she's... This guy was married our vice president's daughter.
Yeah.
Do you think he was thinking about the vice president? No. Only an idiot would marry the family. It's the individual, man. It's the individual. It's the girl, man. Whatever she brings on top, that is an addition. No one situation to deal with. But deal with that girl, man. So, if you happen to marry a girl who also happens to be the daughter of your pastor. Obey the following rule. Never step into the shoes of a great man. Never stay in the shadow of a great parent. You will be shadowed. As soon as you marry, politely excuse yourself and go start your own empire elsewhere. It's not a good thing to wake up to your parents-in-law every day.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to... Every day.
It's very uncomfortable. It's like you're under scrutiny.
Yes. And if you don't appear in church, questions, calls. SMS.
Now, those calls, are they church or are they family? They are both.
They are both.
Any conflict in the church spreads. There's a conspiracy in a certain committee and you're implicated, it spreads. there's a contribution you did not give as expected. Please avoid too many complications. As much as possible, respect mom, love them, but cry and say goodbye. With sadness and sorrow. You need to learn the gift of goodbye.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say it with a sense of relief, but on the surface with a sense of tears.
Yes.
You know you have avoided a lot of troubles, but you can't afford to say it. You say you wish we could have said it. Ni job imetutuma Mombasa, and you are the one who looked for the Mombasa transfer. My brother, you have to see far ahead.
Now, this is another scenario. What if, yes, I've obeyed the rules that you've given me, but again a scenario where this pastor is so domineering, so controlling. You see, we have different types of parents. We have these helicopter parents who want to move around their kids.
You're right. You're right.
You see, what about this? The family I'm married from, what is my pastor? You see? And then this pastor is that kind of helicopter parent.
Whenever you marry from a controlling parent, make sure the child is independent-minded. Never marry the child of a controlling parent who is also compliant. You will become controlled yourself. There will be a tussle because the child can't make up their mind and stand up to their father. Yeah. I've seen men delay their development because they married from a very powerful parent. Let me tell you something. Whenever a parent is powerful, famous, wealthy, leader, successful, anything powerful, study the child first. Many parents who are powerful, they try to impose their philosophy of life on the child.
On the child, yes.
And they demand compliance. Lest you ruin the chance of build. What I built for you. They are threatened. So the children become cowed. Lest they ruin what the father has built. A big business or whatever. So they can't think on their own. You marry here, you become adopted. It happens, Benjamin. Must have been adopted. So once you sense, you need to discern it. So I told you, when you're conversing with a woman, check whether she has an independent mind. What kind of team you will form. Once you realize she's beautiful, you like her, the parents are successful, they are domineering, they're powerful, or they're imposing, and she obeys them in everything, flee. Despite her island.
Flee to the dry land.
Never again, I repeat. If you ever to marry from a powerful parent, make sure the person you're marrying is individuated, independent-minded, has created a safe distance between them and their parent to make their decisions. Otherwise, you just be chained to the dysfunctional system of that family.
Yes.
She constantly put you between her parents and her.
And worse still, worse scenario is, I've married a daughter of a bishop. I've been made a junior pastor.
In which?
That very church. Or I've been given ministry or to be a senior pastor in one of the branches of the same church.
Sometimes if being a pastor is your job, you can't refuse jobs every day. There are guys who, that's their job.
Yeah.
It's a trained theologian, and some of them are very good. Personally, I have very good pastor friends. So I would never wish them to change their career. They give me depth of insight. They add flavor to my life. They assist. They are prayed with us as a family in situations.
Yeah.
Man, by the same way you need a family lawyer and a family doctor, you also need a family pastor. Apart from the Sunday, there are some prayers that are very personal and family oriented.
Yes.
This life is war. Every now and then you are fighting a war as a family. One of your members is you need school fees. There are some battles of business, any kind. You have goals in front of you. You need a family who can pray with you as a family and you tip them, you encourage them.
Now, Benjamin, now that is where another problem comes in. You see, yes, this is a family pastor, but this pastor comes home to help us pray, right? And we tend to confine in him the challenges you're going through as a family, right? So we have some sort of freedom, easy access. Now you'll understand that there will be no line to be drawn when it comes to emotional.
Let's finish that one off, where you are not rightly in the church of your father-in-law.
Father-in-law, yes.
But he's still your boss.
Yes. How do you operate?
Avoid under this life, this world, where your dad-in-law is also your boss. Avoid as much, unless he is the president. Make sure he is not the direct person you are reporting to. If he has to, grow quickly yourself. You sometimes, as I've told you, you can't turn down a job and you need it.
Exactly. That is where I was headed.
We're just saying, don't make it permanent. Let it be a passing situation. Where you're working your situations, you branch off to a different direction. Branch off to a different direction. That is the solution, my brother. Start wherever you have. Sometimes life, when you're starting, you're in a very weak position.
Yeah.
You're offered a job because he wants you to start. And you can appreciate the kindness. Take up the job, but with your wife, think, calculate. Telling them, we need our free space to explore. Away from our parents, so that we don't interfere in the relationship. So what you can do, she tells you, we can save, we open up something, we move to another place, and then in 3 years, you go start another. You appreciate this help, you needed it, but now don't overstay it. All right? You were asking this other question, where it involves?
Yes, just let me give it this scenario, like your job. Your job is to counsel us, to guide us,
Yes,
right?
yes.
To solve our problems. But how do you draw the line that she feels she feels that I need to be emotionally available for her? This person, this pastor is present in our family, right? In our house, always there for us. How should we draw the line that I'm not supposed to be there emotionally?
All right. So let's say this. We have said we need a pastor whom we can call home and
Exactly.
when our child has an issue at school or anything problem or there's sickness, he can show up. He's a family friend. So what I'm saying is, there are those people who visit people's homes and they cross boundaries. They visit too frequently and all that. The problem here is integrity, boundaries. You need to have a culture where the person visits on need basis when they are being called, and leadership is firm. For example, if the man of the home, I'm the one who always invites them, tell them, hey, we need this, we pray over them. So what I'm talking about here is not the extreme where people abuse or they take that advantage to come spend so much time there unnecessarily. Pastoring and counseling and driving and any other job requires integrity and self-respect and character. So there are people who have no character and they hide under the disguise that they are pastors.
They are pastors. Good one. And just last one, the last worst scenario, Benjamin. When I marry in a family where a girl is deeply rooted in the church of the Father, and I am coming from a different congregation, and they have demands that I need to cross over. Their daughter cannot cross over. How does one...
What do those demands tell you about the life ahead of you after you marry her? You'll have to experience many other demands.
Yes.
As I told you, when you marry from a controlling system, make sure the person you are marrying is independent-minded, has individuated, he's strong-willed, telling me I will join you, we'll build our own lives. You will not be sucked into our home. But if she believes her father is a true preacher who she wants to stay under, you go away, my brother, politely, marry elsewhere. Happily for you, God did not ask you to marry a particular lady in this world. You're free to choose who works for you. Don't tie yourself to one woman.
Thank you. Don't tie yourself to one woman. Thanks, guys, for watching.